She was a brave woman named Aisha who joined the army to serve her country. Since childhood, she had a burning desire for courage and sacrifice. She wanted to do something in life that would become a beacon for others. On the battlefield, she served not only for her country, but also for her family, giving her life without hesitation. Every morning, she put on her uniform and trained with her comrades. Her heart held less fear and more courage. She knew that one day all of this would test her strength and sacrifice. She feared nothing, and every danger only made her stronger. Aisha's comrades always encouraged her, saying, "You have something special. You will amaze everyone." But the battlefield tells a different story. One day, they were sent on a mission deep inside enemy territory, and the situation was unexpected. Explosions echoed everywhere. The ground shook, and danger surrounded every step. Aisha motivated her team and decided to advance closer to the enemy position. At that moment, a massive explosion occurred, forcing her to fall, and her leg was severely injured. Her world changed in an instant. Her teammates tried to support her, and she struggled to stay strong. Her only thought was that this is not the end, and she will stand again. Doctors told her she might never walk again, and her life would never be the same. But Aisha never gave up. She decided that even if her body became weak, her heart could remain strong. She started practicing with a prosthetic leg, training every day and pushing her limits. She knew these moments would not break her, but make her stronger. Her heart burned with determination, motivating her to work harder every day. She trained day and night, moving steadily towards her goal. Time passed, and Aisha's efforts began to show results. She became stronger and more confident than before. With each day, her courage grew, and she became an example of inspiration for her fellow soldiers. She was no longer just a wounded soldier, but a shining symbol that one could never give up, even in the hardest circumstances. Her story spread across the military bases, and young women began to look up to her, thinking, if this woman can achieve this, then I too can turn my dreams into reality. Aisha gained not only physical strength, but a new spirit in her heart. She wanted her story to give hope to other wounded soldiers and ordinary people. She spoke at events, sharing her journey. People praised her and admired her courage. Aisha realized that the greatest power of all resides in the heart. After months of relentless training, Aisha finally felt a spark of confidence deep inside her. She realized that losing a leg had not taken her courage away. Instead, it had strengthened her resolve to achieve more than she ever thought possible. Every morning, she woke up with a renewed purpose and pushed herself further than the day before. Her prosthetic leg became a symbol of her determination, and every step she took reminded her that limitations existed only in the mind. Her fellow soldiers began to notice the change in her energy and resilience. They saw a warrior, not defined by injury, but by unyielding spirit. Aisha decided that her mission was not over and that she could inspire others who were struggling. She began volunteering to train newly injured soldiers, helping them adapt to prosthetics, teaching them balance, strength, and confidence. She encouraged them to see the challenges not as setbacks, but as opportunities to discover their hidden potential. Her presence alone brought hope to many, and her words ignited a fire of determination in hearts that had almost surrendered to despair. Life outside the military also demanded courage. Aisha returned home to a world that could not fully understand the battles she had faced. Yet she carried herself with pride and refused to let society define her by her disability. She shared her story with young women in schools and communities, encouraging them to dream bigger and fight for their ambitions, even when obstacles seemed impossible. She spoke of resilience, of inner strength, and of the unbreakable human spirit, and people listened. They saw in her a living example that courage was not measured by perfection, but by persistence and heart. As Aisha continued to push boundaries, she faced days of doubt and nights of exhaustion. There were moments when pain and frustration tried to take over, but she reminded herself of the battlefield moments when fear had surrounded her, yet she had stood firm. She used those memories as fuel and motivation to keep moving forward. She knew that every drop of sweat, every painful step was part of her transformation into a stronger human being, and she embraced it fully. Soon, her story reached media platforms, and documentaries began to feature her journey. Her interviews were filled with authenticity and raw emotion. People from all walks of life connected with her courage. They admired her not only as a soldier, but as a role model and a voice for those who felt invisible. Her story became a beacon for women across the country, proving that determination could overcome any obstacle and that bravery came in many forms. Through all this, Aisha remained humble and grounded. She never sought fame or recognition, but understood the power of her influence. She started writing her thoughts, letters, and reflections about strength, overcoming fear, and finding purpose in adversity. Her writings resonated with countless people who found hope and guidance in her words. The journey of Aisha was no longer just her own. It had become a collective story of courage, inspiration, and human potential. Every day she walked further than the day before. Every challenge became a lesson, and every setback became an opportunity. Her life had transformed into a mission of hope, teaching the world that even in the darkest moments, light could emerge, and even in the deepest despair, courage could rise. She continued to train, speak, write, and inspire without stopping, becoming a living proof that heroes are not made by their perfection, but by their unbroken spirit and unwavering heart. Months turned into years, and Aisha's life became a story of relentless courage and determination. Her name spread across the country, inspiring not just soldiers, but civilians and young women who were searching for hope. She had transformed her pain into power and her wounds into lessons of strength. Each morning, she trained with the same intensity as she had on the battlefield, pushing her body and mind to their limits. Her prosthetic leg had become more than a tool. It was a symbol of resilience, a testament to the fact that even in the face of life-altering challenges, human beings could rise above and redefine their limits. Aisha realized that her journey was bigger than herself. She began organizing workshops and motivational sessions for injured veterans, teaching them that life after injury could still be vibrant, meaningful, and fulfilling. She showed them how to embrace their new reality rather than fear it, and encouraged them to focus on what they could achieve instead of what they had lost. Her words resonated deeply because they came from someone who had lived through the darkest moments, yet emerged stronger. She became a mentor, a guide, and a living example that courage was not just about facing enemies in war, but also confronting inner fears and insecurities. Her story also reached international platforms, where she was invited to speak at conferences and forums. She shared her experiences with global audiences, highlighting the power of determination and resilience in overcoming physical and emotional challenges. People listened with admiration and awe. Her message was simple yet profound, that the human spirit could achieve greatness when nurtured with courage and persistence. She became a symbol not only of physical strength, but of mental fortitude and emotional resilience, inspiring millions across continents. Despite all her public appearances, Aisha remained deeply connected to her personal journey. There were quiet moments in her home where she reflected on the path she had taken, the battles she had survived, and the fears she had conquered. She wrote extensively in her journals, detailing every struggle, every triumph, and every lesson learned. She found solace in writing in the stillness of night and discovered that sharing her thoughts allowed others to find their own courage. Her words carried a message of hope that reached people who had never met her but felt deeply connected to her story. In addition to mentoring and speaking, Aisha started advocating for better support systems for injured soldiers. She collaborated with organizations to provide access to rehabilitation programs, psychological counseling, and career opportunities. Her work created tangible change, improving the lives of countless veterans and their families. Her influence grew, not because of fame or recognition, but because she lived the principles she preached. Courage, compassion, and perseverance became her daily mantra and the foundation of her mission. Through all this, she faced setbacks, doubts, and moments of deep frustration. There were times when physical pain became overwhelming and mental exhaustion threatened to stop her. She remembered the battlefield explosions, the fear, the uncertainty, and she drew strength from those memories. The same woman who had faced death without flinching now faced life's challenges with the same unbroken spirit. Her perseverance inspired everyone around her, creating a ripple effect of hope and determination that spread far beyond the people she directly encountered. Aisha's journey was now no longer just about survival. It had become a testament to human potential. Every step she took, each word she spoke, and every action she performed was a reminder that courage was not about perfection, but about persistence and resilience. Her life had transformed into a living story that motivated individuals to face adversity with strength, hope, and unwavering determination. As the years progressed, Aisha's influence grew far beyond the military community. She became a symbol of resilience, courage, and hope for people facing all kinds of adversity. Her mornings started with rigorous training, pushing her physical limits, and her afternoons were dedicated to mentoring injured soldiers, veterans, and young women who looked up to her for guidance. She shared not only techniques to adapt to physical challenges, but also strategies to strengthen the mind and nurture the spirit. She emphasized that courage was not absence of fear, but the choice to move forward despite it. Aisha's speaking engagements became legendary as she traveled across the country visiting schools, universities, rehabilitation centers, and conferences. She recounted her journey from the battlefield to recovery to becoming an inspiring mentor. Her story was filled with raw honesty about pain, sacrifice, fear, and determination. People listened intently, and many were moved to tears by her courage. She encouraged everyone to see challenges as opportunities to discover hidden strength and to transform obstacles into stepping stones for growth. At the same time, Aisha never neglected her own personal growth. She continued to train intensely on her prosthetic leg, mastering agility, balance, and endurance. She participated in adaptive sports competitions and even began coaching other women to pursue athletics regardless of physical limitations. Her life became a perfect blend of personal achievement and service to others, demonstrating that strength and compassion could coexist beautifully. Despite public admiration and recognition, Aisha remained grounded and humble. She understood that her story was not about her alone, but about empowering others to realize their potential. She wrote articles, gave interviews, participated in documentaries, and created content that reached millions. She focused on the emotional journeys of resilience, overcoming fear, and transforming loss into purpose. Her words resonated because they came from lived experience, not theory, and people everywhere found inspiration in her journey. Challenges were never absent from her life, though, and there were moments when exhaustion, pain, and doubt threatened to overwhelm her. She faced nights of sleepless reflection and days when progress seemed slow, yet she drew strength from the same fire that had carried her through the battlefield. She reminded herself that persistence over time created transformation, and that every step forward, no matter how small, was a victory over adversity. Aisha also focused on building a supportive community around her. She connected with other veterans, disabled women, and survivors of trauma, creating networks of encouragement, resources, and mentorship. She believed that collective strength amplified individual courage, and that together people could overcome even the most difficult challenges. Her community grew stronger as people shared experiences, learned from one another, and supported each other in achieving goals once thought impossible. As part 4 of her journey unfolded, Aisha began to realize that her mission was not only to inspire, but to create lasting change. She advocated for policy improvements, better rehabilitation programs, and greater awareness for the challenges faced by injured soldiers. She collaborated with government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and educational institutions to make resources accessible to those in need. Her work brought tangible change to countless lives, proving that strength combined with action could transform society. Every day, Aisha demonstrated that resilience was a continuous journey. She embraced discomfort, challenges, and setbacks with unwavering determination. She became a living example that the human spirit was capable of extraordinary achievement, that loss did not define a person, and that through courage, persistence, and service, one could create a legacy far beyond oneself. Her story now touched millions and inspired them to believe that even in the darkest times, hope could shine and strength could be found within. Aisha's journey had now reached a point where her personal courage and public influence merged into a powerful force for change. She continued to rise each morning with a heart full of purpose and a mind determined to make a difference. Every day, she pushed her physical limits with rigorous training, testing her balance, agility, and endurance. Her prosthetic leg was no longer a symbol of loss, but a testament to her resilience and adaptability. Each step she took reminded herself and others that true strength was born from facing adversity and refusing to surrender. Her work with veterans and wounded soldiers intensified as she created specialized programs to teach coping mechanisms, resilience strategies, and emotional fortitude. She guided them to transform fear into motivation and pain into strength. Through workshops, seminars, and one-on-one mentorship, Aisha became a pillar of hope. She shared her own experiences openly about the moments of doubt, fear, and despair that had once threatened to break her. She emphasized that it was okay to feel fear, but it was essential to channel it into purposeful action. Her authenticity and transparency inspired those around her to confront their own challenges courageously. Beyond the military community, Aisha's story began to resonate globally. She was invited to speak at international conferences and summits where she shared insights on resilience, courage, leadership, and mental strength. People from different backgrounds connected with her journey and admired her ability to convert personal tragedy into a mission of hope. Her speeches were filled with emotion and conviction, leaving audiences motivated and empowered to tackle their own obstacles. Her influence became a testament to the universal nature of human courage and the transformative power of persistence. At the same time, Aisha focused on her own personal development. She pursued adaptive sports, taking part in competitions that challenged her endurance and skill. She coached other women to embrace athletics and physical activity regardless of physical limitations. Her life became a fusion of personal growth, service, and advocacy, demonstrating that the pursuit of excellence and compassion for others could coexist harmoniously. She proved that resilience was not just surviving hardship, but thriving despite it and inspiring others along the way. Challenges continued to test Aisha. She faced physical pain, mental fatigue, and moments of self-doubt. Yet each time she drew upon the lessons learned from the battlefield. The fear, the uncertainty, and the overwhelming chaos she had once faced became a source of strength. She reminded herself daily that persistence was more powerful than perfection, and that each small victory built momentum toward larger achievements. Her unwavering dedication inspired those around her and created a ripple effect of courage and motivation that spread beyond immediate communities. Aisha also devoted energy to creating supportive networks for survivors, disabled individuals, and wounded veterans. She believed that collective empowerment was crucial and that people could achieve extraordinary things when they shared resources, knowledge, and encouragement. She facilitated connections between individuals, fostering a sense of belonging, mutual support, and shared purpose. Her vision of community strengthened the impact of her work and created lasting change for those who needed guidance and hope the most. By now, Aisha's life had become a living legacy of resilience, courage, and empowerment. Her daily routine of training, mentoring, speaking, and advocating illustrated that strength was cultivated through continuous effort and that adversity could be transformed into opportunity. She became a symbol of hope for countless individuals, reminding the world that heroes are not defined by what they lose, but how they rise. She embodied the principle that every challenge was a chance to grow, every setback an opportunity to strengthen the spirit, and every life touched a chance to inspire. Aisha's journey had now reached a point where her personal courage and public influence merged into a powerful force for change. She continued to rise each morning with a heart full of purpose and a mind determined to make a difference. Every day, she pushed her physical limits with rigorous training, testing her balance, agility, and endurance. Her prosthetic leg was no longer a symbol of loss, but a testament to her resilience and adaptability. Each step she took reminded herself and others that true strength was born from facing adversity and refusing to surrender. Her work with veterans and wounded soldiers intensified as she created specialized programs to teach coping mechanisms, resilience strategies, and emotional fortitude. She guided them to transform fear into motivation and pain into strength. Through workshops, seminars, and one-on-one mentorship, Aisha became a pillar of hope. She shared her own experiences openly about the moments of doubt, fear, and despair that had once threatened to break her. She emphasized that it was okay to feel fear, but it was essential to channel it into purposeful action. Her authenticity and transparency inspired those around her to confront their own challenges courageously. Beyond the military community, Aisha's story began to resonate globally. She was invited to speak at international conferences and summits where she shared insights on resilience, courage, leadership, and mental strength. People from different backgrounds connected with her journey and admired her ability to convert personal tragedy into a mission of hope. Her speeches were filled with emotion and conviction, leaving audiences motivated and empowered to tackle their own obstacles. Her influence became a testament to the universal nature of human courage and the transformative power of persistence. At the same time, Aisha focused on her own personal development. She pursued adaptive sports, taking part in competitions that challenged her endurance and skill. She coached other women to embrace athletics and physical activity regardless of physical limitations. Her life became a fusion of personal growth, service, and advocacy, demonstrating that the pursuit of excellence and compassion for others could coexist harmoniously. She proved that resilience was not just surviving hardship, but thriving despite it and inspiring others along the way. Challenges continued to test Aisha. She faced physical pain, mental fatigue, and moments of self-doubt. Yet each time she drew upon the lessons learned from the battlefield. The fear, the uncertainty, and the overwhelming chaos she had once faced became a source of strength. She reminded herself daily that persistence was more powerful than perfection, and that each small victory built momentum toward larger achievements. Her unwavering dedication inspired those around her and created a ripple effect of courage and motivation that spread beyond immediate communities. Aisha also devoted energy to creating supportive networks for survivors, disabled individuals, and wounded veterans. She believed that collective empowerment was crucial and that people could achieve extraordinary things when they shared resources, knowledge, and encouragement. She facilitated connections between individuals, fostering a sense of belonging, mutual support, and shared purpose. Her vision of community strengthened the impact of her work and created lasting change for those who needed guidance and hope the most. By now, Aisha's life had become a living legacy of resilience, courage, and empowerment. Her daily routine of training, mentoring, speaking, and advocating illustrated that strength was cultivated through continuous effort and that adversity could be transformed into opportunity. She became a symbol of hope for countless individuals, reminding the world that heroes are not defined by what they lose, but how they rise. She embodied the principle that every challenge was a chance to grow, every setback an opportunity to strengthen the spirit, and every life touched a chance to inspire. Aisha's journey had become a story of unwavering determination and extraordinary courage. She had transformed from a soldier wounded on the battlefield into a symbol of hope and resilience for people across the nation. Every day she woke with purpose and trained her body and mind relentlessly. Her prosthetic leg carried her through grueling exercises, adaptive sports, and countless demonstrations of strength and agility. Each step reminded her that limitations exist only if we allow them to, and that courage is measured by the willingness to keep moving forward despite adversity. Her outreach work had expanded beyond veterans to include women from all walks of life who faced challenges that seemed insurmountable. She held workshops, mentorship sessions, and motivational talks, emphasizing self-belief, resilience, and the power of persistence. Her story inspired people to confront fears that had once held them back and to embrace challenges as opportunities to discover inner strength. She encouraged her audience to see hardships not as barriers, but as stepping stones toward growth and transformation. Despite the admiration and recognition she received, Aisha remained humble and grounded. She spent quiet moments reflecting on her journey, remembering the explosions, the fear, the pain, and the moments of doubt that had once surrounded her. She drew strength from those memories, knowing that every obstacle she had overcome had prepared her to face future challenges. She wrote extensively in journals, sharing her thoughts, reflections, and lessons, hoping that her words would guide others who felt lost or discouraged. Her advocacy work gained momentum as she collaborated with organizations, nonprofits, and government agencies to improve rehabilitation services, provide resources for injured soldiers, and create awareness about adaptive programs. She believed that courage combined with action could change lives, and that every effort to empower someone else was a victory in itself. Aisha also embraced public speaking on international platforms, sharing her story of resilience, courage, and transformation. Her speeches inspired audiences to rethink their own limits and motivated them to pursue personal growth despite obstacles. She highlighted the universal nature of human determination and emphasized that the same strength that allowed her to survive the battlefield could be found within anyone who chose to persevere. She became a symbol of hope, whose influence extended far beyond the individuals she directly mentored. Even with all her accomplishments, Aisha faced moments of exhaustion, doubt, and frustration. There were days when physical pain and emotional fatigue threatened to overwhelm her. Yet, she reminded herself that persistence mattered more than perfection, and that true courage was measured by the ability to rise every time life knocked you down. She embraced every challenge as an opportunity to grow, and every setback as a lesson to strengthen her spirit. Her life had become a living testament to the power of resilience and the limitless potential of the human heart. Through part 6 of her journey, Aisha's impact continued to expand, touching countless lives. Her daily actions, mentoring, speaking, advocacy, and personal perseverance illustrated that even in the face of immense adversity, one could rise and inspire others. She had become a living embodiment of hope, courage, and determination, showing the world that heroes are not born, but forged through persistence, commitment, and an unbreakable heart. Her story was now not only about survival, but about transformation, empowerment, and leaving a legacy that would endure long after her own struggles had ended. Aisha's journey had reached its ultimate chapter, and her life had become a living testament to courage, resilience, and transformation. She had faced the battlefield and survived the explosions, fear, and pain. She had conquered physical limitations, emotional doubt, and societal expectations. Every day she woke with purpose and continued to train, mentor, speak, and advocate. Her prosthetic leg a symbol of triumph, every action a demonstration that courage is not defined by the body, but by the heart. Her work had touched thousands of lives, veterans, young women, disabled individuals, and ordinary people inspired by her story of perseverance. Her mentorship programs had grown into communities of support where hope, encouragement, and guidance flowed freely. She taught that setbacks were temporary, that every challenge carried a lesson, and that true strength was measured by the ability to rise after falling. She emphasized that life's battles were not only on the battlefield, but also within oneself, and that confronting fear was the path to empowerment. Aisha's public presence became a beacon of hope on international stages. Her speeches resonated with audiences across continents, inspiring them to pursue goals with determination and embrace obstacles as opportunities for growth. She shared stories of struggle, triumph, resilience, and transformation, motivating countless people to reclaim their own strength. She became more than a soldier. She became a symbol of the unbreakable human spirit, a living example that bravery is forged in adversity and nurtured through persistence. Despite her fame, Aisha remained grounded. She spent quiet, reflective moments considering how far she had come from the terrified soldier on the battlefield. She wrote extensively, capturing lessons learned, challenges overcome, and victories celebrated. Her writings became a source of guidance and inspiration for those who felt lost or hopeless. They conveyed that even in the darkest moments, one could find light, and that courage was an internal fire that could never be extinguished by circumstance. Her advocacy work continued, shaping policy, improving rehabilitation services, and creating opportunities for injured soldiers and disabled individuals. She collaborated with organizations, educational institutions, and communities to ensure access to resources, training, and emotional support. She believed in collective empowerment, that by lifting others, one strengthened oneself, and that true leadership was measured by the impact on lives transformed rather than accolades earned. Aisha's life became a cycle of inspiration, perseverance, and empowerment. She rose every morning with renewed vigor, embracing challenges as stepping stones and setbacks as lessons. She embodied the principle that heroes are not defined by victories alone, but by the courage to face trials with an unbroken spirit and the commitment to inspire others through action. Her story demonstrated that loss could be transformed into purpose, pain into power, and adversity into opportunity. In the final chapter of her journey, Aisha stood before a crowd of veterans, young women, and supporters, reflecting on her path. She spoke not of her accomplishments, but of resilience, determination, hope, and the unyielding power of the human heart. She reminded them that courage is available to everyone, that strength is cultivated through persistence, and that every life touched with hope creates a ripple effect far beyond measure. Aisha looked at the faces around her and smiled, knowing that her journey had come full circle. She had turned her pain into purpose, her injury into inspiration, and her struggles into a legacy. Her story would continue to inspire generations, proving that even in the most challenging circumstances, one can rise stronger, braver, and unbreakable. She embodied the essence of human courage, the power of resilience, and the transformative potential of hope. Her life was now a living legend, a beacon for all who dare to face fear and triumph against all odds.